And in this video I wanted to loosely discuss and talk about a very debated topic, or very interesting topic, and that is, how much do you practice in Magic? And we'll go the ins and outs and the different contexts about that. So with that said, let's roll that intro. So let's say you're a beginner or new to Magic and you want to get proficiency in mastering Magic overall. You see some really cool coin roll technique, or you see the card spring, and you want to learn that and the practice therein. For what's worked for me, I'm just going to largely, I'll try to speak to a general context, but also personally what's worked for me is in the beginning, I need to get the fundamentals down and get a general idea. So more practice is good when you're really interested in this and you really want to grow or take it with a new direction, however you want to use Magic to whatever end, or the magical effects therein. I noticed for beginners, let's say you want to master a card string. I'm just going to give an example. Mastering the card string. Okay, wonderful, wonderful flourish. I guess we'll go into the context of flourish. And though I'm a slow learner, it took 3 weeks at 1 hour a day to practice that effect. And for many, practicing a card effect or just mastering may not be exciting for them. So we need to look for a way to entice the senses or the mind to be able to be interested in doing this activity. Hence the little suggestions I give along the way. And one is, let's say you're mastering a, I had a coin earlier. A coin roll or a basic sequence of vanishes. So coin roll, you know how it can just drop to the floor table all the time, and it takes a lot of practice to do so. And it could be not that exciting. So what I would suggest would be to, in your time when you're doing something like an idle activity where you just relax and you're doing whatever, this could be a less conscious activity. Well, it becomes a conscious and then becomes a less conscious activity. It kind of makes it a challenge for yourself. You could be watching, and this is the example, you could be watching a movie, let's say, or just watching some, like just listening or whatever. And this is after you go from, you would want a close, soft surface so you don't hear the clanking all the time, because that just is irritating in the learning the practice and gets infuriating. But let's say I drop it. Ooh, it dropped right here. I can easily pick it up and continue practicing. So if I'm watching a movie in my room, or if I am at the, well, once I get a good understanding of the coin, then I can go to the movie theaters and suggest movie theaters, or on the couch watching a movie, whatever. I can be able to just practice it while listening to the thing. And it's not too distracting. In either case, you just be learning to roll the coin. Maybe drop it, but you can still be casual listening to something or whichever, and being able to get the concepts. That is a great way to be able to master the coin roll, or when students are learning. I have taught many students the basic concepts of a vanish, and then producing a coin, and then you could do the same. You're set up to do the same sequence all over again. And eventually, it's less about focusing on the actions, but just more making the movements automatic, or just a muscle memory. Building, yes, that's what it is. Building the muscle memory, so this becomes second nature and you really don't have to think about it. The last thing you want to do is just be thinking about your whole thing and not even focusing on the audience. You want to be able to focus on this. It goes. Isn't that amazing? It just goes. And then produce it over here. Wasn't that cool? And it seems so effortless. We want to create that effortlessness, and it comes through building muscle memory, which in turn takes practice. And again, it took me like an hour a day to learn the basic card spring, which I have a video on. You could check that out. You can check that out right on my channel in the new to Magic series, or I believe I call it New to Magic series on my channel, and we go over that and just my tidbits on how to learn that a little bit faster. Card spring's just wonderful, and it took practice. It all does. And for, let's say now, for the intermediates, you would still, would consider people would still need a good amount of practice for the intermediate level, so you'd be able to sharpen your technique, get everything just right, get everything smooth, so you can continue amazing your spectators or blow them away with whatever effect you're doing. And or just working on presentation, so there's continuous practice. And sometimes it may not even be with the technique so much, it may be more with presentation or different ways. And in many ways, I consider myself not an advanced performer, even after 15 to 18 years of performance, but more so just an intermediate level performer, because I just want to be able to master the fundamentals, which is essential. I always say master the fundamentals, cue in like an Avatar scene. Basics to go break his root. But I want everyone to master the fundamentals so that they can be able to handle situations much more easily or focus on the audience. And with the intermediates or intermediate level, we get more choice and flexibility in how we continue learning and approaching and growing as a performer. And nowadays I focus a lot more on conceptual thought and how I can just structure it to be better. And for me, it's like mental practice, a different level of practice. Instead of practicing the sleights, which I feel like I've got down good, so I don't need to practice them. Now I focus more on how could I just, like the Lakers, they're giving their all, 100%. Well, can you just give 101, just a little bit more? How can I conceptually make those routines better, or just create a new routine overall that really meets the standards of what spectators are asking for? And eventually you'll see it along your shows where, if you get asked for feedback, which is always good, maybe they want a special thing to happen, a special time, a little twist or something that really brings your effect to the next level. And I like to ask the spectators, they always get blown away by the show, but in a way, the spectators also create the show. So listening to them and then working and practicing to tweak your effects to their standard and take that level of magic from just being a magic effect to a miracle would be quite amazing. Leaving no room to how, or no reason or no explanation to how you did it, and just creating this amazing effect is also cool. For advanced card people or coin people or however, this is mostly an academy for close-up magic though, but it could also apply to stage. For advanced, you need a lot of practice, because if you're doing advanced moves or stuff of that nature, cue the Dan and Dave stuff, you need to make sure everything is perfect, and albeit it is risky because you do risk flashing, but you do work really hard in your show and all those advanced moves, so you can be able to perform them almost reliably, or very reliably without it flashing. So there's a lot of continual practice needs to be there, but I always like to think, is it worth it for those moves? And if it really excites you, go for it, go crazy. I only encourage it. But for me, I just like to be relaxed and have the techniques and have everything there, and I already know and understand everything, and just really focus on the audience and seeing how far I really want to go with the effect and what would best amaze them, and really thinking about them and focusing on them. And by focusing on them and then focusing on you, you create a great social and great balance overall that separates you from just being a performer who just performs at whim, just like almost robotically. We want to avoid this sense of robotic form that we think of magic performances, and just elevate that, which I think is much better, because social media's done some great things for magic, but just one of the other things is just when you make magician videos and a lot of normal spectators see it, or which just focus on the hands and they're just doing moves or small things, which is cool to showcase, but it also for people who only see that, because again, people only see magic twice in their lifetimes. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. We want to give a full representation of magic where we can. And so for everyone, there's different levels of practices if they need to practice. Sometimes, people may not practice for like a month or so, and it may, in some contexts, be appropriate for them, but they're thinking about it. They're thinking about their routines, and maybe their practice could be just through actual performance, which is understandable. They don't need to practice so much because they're in a constant performance environment and they're growing and practicing through each performance they do. And that's why Magic Castle, if you're looking to grow and perform, is a great place to do it if you become a member there, or whatever Magic in your area or place that encourages it, that allows for performance and you to grow as an individual. Because the best way to grow as a performer is through continuous real and live performances. So with that said, hope you enjoyed this little quick video on that. And if you haven't checked out this video or this video, definitely check it out, and I'll see you next one.